Phil,
Kenny?
you remember the old days when you guys would come in, but we just launched something with you, get it going, and then you come in and want to know how it's doing, where it was, and you have all this list of questions, and I give you the look of like, piss off because I don't have time to run around trying to figure all this stuff out. How many stores is it in? Well, it's supposed to be in this many, Phil. Kenny, I can't see it all in these stores. Phil, get your people, go and find out which stores it's in. Remember all those conversations where to get data on something just listed or just running, everything just took forever to get an answer. Everything.
And it was frustrating. All of it was frustrating because I'd be frustrated at you because you couldn't get me the answers I want. You'd be frustrated because you didn't understand why I just didn't throw more resources at this. But either way, neither of us ever got the answers that we ever wanted.
Exactly. Tons of paperwork, took forever. And by the time we got the data, who cared anyway? Well, you know what, Mr. Chang? Those days are over. Field Agent just launched Marketplace. You want to know what it is, Phil? Because I know you're dying to ask. It's a self-serve platform where brands of any size can launch tasks on demand.
Okay. So I can test packaging, pricing. I check promotions to see if they're set up correctly.
All of it. And super quick. You can do it within minutes. And you can target by location, demographics. You can get photos, feedback, and the data is in one easy peasy, easy to read dashboard. Super, super easy. Best part, no minimums, no setup fees. You pay for the data you collect, and that's it.
Perfect for small brands that we talk to all the time, sales team, marketers,
100%.
anyone who needs quick, real-world insights. I like
True data now. Not in a week, not a month. If you're so inclined on a Friday afternoon like we are now, and you wanted to probably start it tomorrow or Sunday, guess what? You can do it. None of this 15-year delay, and before you know it, the world's turned over 3 times. Incredible.
If you're interested, check it out at www.fieldagentcanada.com/marketplace.
Hey, welcome to This Commerce Life, an unscripted podcast that focuses on the stories behind small and independent Canadian retail and Canadian CPG.
What we try and do is deliver or pull out the story of our guests and give them to you. You know, the good, the bad, the ugly of retail and CPG in Canada. We're filling a need because we think that retail is hard on the best of days, but it's also a wonderful, wonderful place to grow up and make your living.
We also think that the industry, nor the people that inadvertently find themselves in the industry, really understand the industry at all. They don't really understand what goes on behind the scenes.
So listen to us, Phil and Kenny. We'll unravel it for you. We'll give you the story. We'll give you the story behind the story.
Okay, that's kind of nice. Oh, yeah, you have to do the recording part. I tried.
Sorry I'm late.
It's all good.
I
Good
was running a
morning.
little behind, and then my laptop decided now is a good time to restart. And I was like, all right, fine.
That's
Okay,
always
what do I
always.
do? Yeah.
That's always the case with me, so I'm just happy it's not me today.
I know. How are you?
Good, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm good. I think this is the first time I've seen you in person. Well,
Yeah,
digitally in person.
we've been chatting on the phone and
Texting
messaging
and
for quite
talking
some
on the
time
phone.
now. But yeah, it's finally nice to put a face to the name.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for this. And that you've met Kenny, clearly.
Yes, both Vancouverites, I've learned.
Yeah, we're here.
Yes. Although you don't keep Vancouver time, because every time that I've talked to you, you've been up. You actually surprise me every time because I think you actually keep Toronto time. It feels like you're up early. I feel like, because
me?
because
yeah,
every
well,
time when I
I-
talk to you, you're like, because sometimes Nieka will go, hey, can we talk at 10? I'm like, sure, we'll talk at 10. And then she's like, where are you? I'm like, oh, 10 my time. Yeah, no problem, right? But because
I can't take too much credit for it though, because I have been in Ottawa for the past several months now.
okay.
So,
Oh, that's
sometimes we have connected. I was back in Vancouver. I am an early bird.
yeah. Yeah, so I've definitely been a little surprised by when, but that's awesome. I love it. I love it. And then I'm glad you were able to do this. Thank you for rescheduling. I appreciate that. So,
Well, of
yeah.
course, and thank you as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did we have to bump this one?
What's that?
Did we have to bump this one?
Yeah, we bumped this one maybe once. Maybe
Yeah,
once,
it was
maybe
originally
twice.
a couple
I don't
of
remember. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the rest of this podcast, I won't blow too much more time. The rest of the podcast is yours. Do you want to introduce yourself? And then we'll kind of talk through why are you doing what you do. I am excited to have you on, and then I'm excited that you've met Kenny. That's parts of it, and then let's get our audience kind of hooked up with you. So, do you mind introducing yourself?
Of course, of course. So, I'm Dr. Nieka Sabeti. I'm a practicing optometrist in Canada. So, I'm licensed to practice in both BC and Ontario. I am also the founder of CHESHMA, a line of eye-friendly cosmetics designed with the health of the eye or ocular surface in mind. So in terms of just my general practice with optometry, I've had the opportunity to work in multiple practices as an associate. I've been a practice owner myself. I've been working on the College of Optometrists of BC. I've been a clinical consultant for an eye care company, and I've been working in a dry eye specialty clinic within an ophthalmology practice in Ottawa since earlier this year, which has been so incredible because dry eye is my passion. And I was able to now present my line of eye-friendly cosmetics, CHESHMA, uh, earlier this year. I was able to launch it. So I've been working on that in the background for many years now. But finally came out with my first product earlier this year, and then I just launched my second product last week.
Oh, you did. You launched
Excited.
it.
Wow.
I know we were talking about it, but I didn't know you launched it. That's amazing.
Yes, yes, it's finally out, ready for the world.
So for listeners, if you were wondering, it's Cheshma, CHESHMA. So cheshmabeauty.ca if you're checking it out. But okay, so you're an eye doctor, so why get into products and
Like,
building?
is there clearly, because you get this category, there's a huge need for eye friendly. Isn't most of the stuff around the eye already? Hopefully it's quasi friendly.
I wish I could say yes, Kenny, but unfortunately not. And that's a huge reason why I have so many dry eye patients. Now, dry eye can be caused, but it's a multifactorial
Right.
disease. But it can be caused by many contributing factors, and one of them is cosmetics. It is highly
Mhm.
prevalent in cosmetic wearers. And so I have had countless patients who have really struggled with cosmetic wear, primarily due to dry eye and or a lack of education or awareness around proper cosmetic choices and practices. And I've even had patients, break down in the exam room saying that, their self-esteem has plummeted because they can't wear cosmetics because they have such significant dry eye disease and they don't know what to do about it. And I remember way years back when this all started, um, I had multiple patients a day that kept having this issue. And I remember it was just something that I felt a deep responsibility for. It just really weighed on me quite a bit. And they'd ask me like, well, what product should I use? And I couldn't really suggest any products that I wholeheartedly trusted for them to use. And this was literally an idea that came to me in the middle of my sleep. I remember I woke up and shot out of bed and I was like, oh my God, I need to be doing this. And not to mention cosmetics, I've always been passionate about as well. So Sephora is a Disney World for me. I get so excited about, makeup and skincare, just generally what products that I think can enhance your natural beauty, but are also safe to use. It has always been something that's been I've been really passionate about, and so I thought, well, this is really cool. I have a background in chemistry from undergrad, which I was sad I'll never use again, but I thought it would be cool to be able to use that again. A bit of that knowledge, of course, working intensively with formulators on this project. But also just being able to bring my two worlds into one. And the core of this brand is really a mission to educate, empower, and raise awareness around proper eye hygiene and safe beauty practices. And I'm really hoping that the education will extend beyond just my patients, beyond makeup wearers, my colleagues, the general public, but also the cosmetic industry, in terms of what we need to be looking out for and what we kind of need to set as hopefully more refined standards to make kind of more stringent, you know, regulations around testing and what production and type of products are we able to actually bring out to the market. And I swear I drove all the labs crazy throughout this process because of the extensive testing that I wanted to take my products through. And they kept reminding me, like, you don't need to do this. Health Canada doesn't need this. But for me, it wasn't what
Yeah.
Health Canada needs. It was what
Kind of the standard you
I don't
make.
want to bring out any product onto the market. I want to bring out the right products. And so I had really had a thought about, okay, how do I actually want to, what's the framework of this company? And like I said, the core is really that mission. And it's really a matter of like, I look at it as really just intentions of what I want to do with this brand. And it's really because it's such hardships and struggles I've seen from my patients that I want to provide that solution for them of something that will really help them feel better, enhance their natural beauty, but also helping them feel better in terms of their eye health. And so I wanted to intentionally launch with the makeup remover. It's called the I Spy Clean Eyes Makeup Remover first to emphasize the importance of proper make or eye hygiene. And then we talk about responsible makeup choices and wear. We see a lot of patients who actually don't remove makeup before bedtime, unfortunately, and that does contribute to more significant dry eye disease. And so I think I wanted to kind of set the tone with, if we're going to wear makeup, let's be responsible about it. Let's make sure we remove it. And then let's talk about safe choices and practices.
Is that so? That's a thing still, because I remember, like, I think maybe you and I talked about it a long time ago, but like I remember my days at Revlon, and that was like early 2000s, and we were talking about how kind of proper makeup routine, there's still lots of women who weren't following that,
Mhm.
but it's still a thing, clearly.
Definitely. I mean, I just had two patients yesterday that reported, and it's something that I really am very conscious of when I see examine patients who are wearing cosmetics, or generally with my female patients, I do mention cosmetics to all of them. I would say it just comes up organically in our conversations, but when I do evaluate the health of the eye behind the microscope called the slit lamp in the exam room, and I see any makeup on their lids and lashes, I always ask them, is this makeup from today? And you'd be surprised how many of them will say no, and how many of them will be surprised that they still have makeup on there because they thought it had gone away from a few days ago when they last put it on for an event. So, but they still have an accumulation of debris along their lids and lashes. So they're either not removing it altogether, or they're not using the right
Right.
products. A lot of them are just removing it with hot water and a washcloth. So,
So not what the boys do, soap and water.
I'm
Clearly.
not even going to enter that
I'm sorry
territory.
that you had two boys in the call, but
But yeah, it's very prevalent. And so a lot of them are just quite shocked by the things I say about improper eye hygiene and not removing her makeup. And so they do take it quite seriously. And by the time I see them for their follow-ups, I know that they're they're using makeup
Right.
remover because we actually discuss it. And there has been at least some improvement in the eyelid health.
wow. Okay. So you start with the clean. Can I ask, so any aha moments kind of moving from because you've trained to be an eye doctor, you've got lots of skills behind you. Was there anything really surprising about like trying to make a product for real? You're kind of dreaming about this makeup remover, so I'm curious about, kind of coming into this space, and we talk about retail and how retail's kind of crazy. So I'm curious if you've got observations of your side of exactly how crazy we are.
I
Well,
think
no joke.
I think there were a lot of like moments. I mean, every day is a learning experience for me, truly. It's a journey for sure. I learned something on pretty much a daily basis, but I think the things that really stand out most again were the standards that we have, very
Lack
minimal
thereof.
standards,
Yeah.
yeah, lack thereof. And also it just in terms of formulating a product that I mean when I worked with the formulators I have a long list of no ingredients, but also a list of ingredients that I'd like to include in these products. And I think what I've really learned throughout this journey is that when we look at ingredients, I think we are very inclined to saying like absolutely not with this ingredient and that ingredient. Um we kind of tend to um look at it as a sole ingredient and not look at the whole formulation to see is it working together well. So my learning experience with that was how can I put together a formulation with the help with working with the formulators that will create something that works both synergistically to enhance one another's effects as well as symbiotically. Like how do these ingredients help each other out within the formulation? So there are ingredients that I'm still very much like this is an absolute no, but I think it was a big learning experience for me to see, well, what is the concentration? What is the format? Like what is the shape of that ingredient? Is it going to cause micro abrasions to the cornea, to the front surface of the eye, or are we going to choose that type of ingredient that's more of a cloud-based type of format? So it's very much there's a lot of course, research and deep dive and digging into kind of what kind of, works together the best. And then also, how does that formulation actually perform at the end of the day? Like it could look very nice on paper. Oh, this sounds like a wonderful formulation. It has great clean ingredients, but is it actually performing the way you think consumers would expect it to or would want it to?
From your perspective, this is about just general good eye care. Like it's so like I'm trying to figure out like dry like we both bought OTC for different companies. I bought it for London Drugs for a trillion years, and dry eye was a huge category, whether it was environmental, meds driven, a genetic issue, whatever. Like there was dry eye was prevalent. We sold a lot of drops, like just a quadrillion drops. Like dry eye was huge.
Oh,
Is
I
this
care.
issue?
That eyedropper
Oh,
category is,
massive, massive.
sorry,
But is this?
I know you're gonna turn over because I know you a little bit, but like for the retailer, it's like printing. It's almost like
Oh, it's so profitable.
it's
It's
like
highly
selling
profitable.
diphenhydramine, like in the 18 different,
Oh,
like
100%.
sleep, cold, like, when I worked for Visine, it was like,
Yeah,
Mm,
we can
highly
make lots of
profitable.
money at this, right? Like, yeah,
yeah,
But
Sorry.
yeah.
the stuff you're talking
Sorry.
about,
Kidding.
is it tied to mostly around people like good eye care, like I was saying, is just good. You should just do it anyway. But or is it people with dry are specifically more sensitive to whatever's in your makeup that men or women are using that are causing more like is this is a big deal, clearly. I mean, because you're so focused on the eye because that's your doctor of it, and I appreciate that because I don't want anything going wrong with my eyes. Is like I'm just trying to understand it. Like, is this like is this a problem for the masses or specifically for people with dry eye? I mean, masses could benefit from clean eyes, clearly, but I'm trying to
Yeah.
understand like
Yeah, yeah. Just I'd love to kind of get into what dry eye is
Yes,
exactly.
please.
these.
It's
Yeah.
a multifactorial symptomatic disease that is caused by basically there's an imbalance of the tears on the surface of the eyes. So either there's a loss of the tears on the eyes are
Right.
evaporating too quickly, and or there's not enough of them on the surface of the eyes.
Yeah.
And this could lead to symptoms of burning, stinging, increased sensitivity, sandy, gritty sensations in the eyes, too much watering, not enough watering. There's a whole spectrum of symptoms. But basically, there's that loss of balance. There's that loss of homeostasis of the tear film on the surface of the eyes. And dry eye is a lot more prevalent than we think it is. And there are many contributing factors that include medical conditions such as autoimmune disease, certain types of medications, hormones. Happens more commonly in contact lens wearers and certain environmental conditions, and with certain cosmetics. So to answer, I think this is what you were asking, Kenny, in terms of just if someone with dry eye, do we have an increased level of sensitivity?
I'm just curious, like I'm trying to like what really motivated this from your perspective was clearly you're working with people with eyes. You can see
Yeah.
one that people aren't just doing just good general makeup removal, which is a practice you should be in, period.
Yeah.
But then
Yeah.
on top of that, so people with eye sensitivities, like it's even more prevalent for them because of
Yeah.
whatever.
Yes, yeah. And that's why I designed the line the way I did in terms of what ingredients are we leaving out and what ingredients are we putting in that help also promote or nourish the lids and
Right.
lash, the delicate area around the eye. So not just leaving out the harmful ingredients, but what ingredients can be put in that can be beneficial to the area around the eyes, but also with each of these products, what message, what educational message do I have behind it? So with that makeup remover, it's ensuring that we're removing our makeup before bedtime. With, say, the mascara, my educational message behind it, because I've basically broken down one big tube into three mini ones. I'm really trying to encourage the consumer to ensure that they're replacing their mascara, their mini mascaras, on a monthly basis. I think anyone who knows me knows how passionate I am about frequency of replacement of makeup, because so many people extend, like the number of people that I know who have extended their mascara for over a year and beyond is incredible.
I
And
bet it's huge. It's expensive and people just don't think of it.
exactly. And there's a lot of product in it, so you can
For
extend it, but the
sure.
tubes should be replaced every 3 months. And that brush, our lids and lashes are prone to collecting debris, such as uh, de- uh, dust, allergens,
Right.
pollutants, bacteria, makeup, even mites. And so the more you're using that brush and you're putting it into the same vial over however many months
Right.
or years, you're actually increasing that microbial load, and there's increase of pathogens on the brush as well as within the vial. So you're putting yourself at more risk for developing any infections and inflammation to the eye and eye area. And so that's why I broke it down into three mini tubes. And I actually write on the box to replace each vial monthly so that we're decreasing the amount of, pathogens or microbes that can accumulate on there. And you don't want to put it onto the lashes, the lids and lashes. So that's another message I want to get across. Another message is ensuring that we're there's proper application of the makeup. So a lot of makeup users will line the inner rim of the eyelids with eyeliner. Just it does provide a more intense, bold look. However, we have glands along our upper and lower lid margins that are responsible for secreting oils onto the tear film to keep the tears nice and stable. And so when we're lining those inner rims, we're essentially blocking those glands, and we're getting product within those, the openings, the orifices of the glands, and we're causing, well, first of all, not enough oils to go onto the tear film, and that's why the tears can evaporate too quickly. That's called evaporative dry eye disease. That's the most common type of dry eye. But also, if we do get any products into those glands, we can be causing inflammation or infections and get, styes and whatnot along the lid margin. So there's a kind of a lot. I hope that kind of answers the question, Kenny, but there is, it kind of, we're like it feeds off of each other, if that
Right.
makes sense.
I guess because I'm hypersensitive about my eyes. I don't wear contacts. I can't put shit in my eyes. Like getting drops in my eyes is an event. Like we could sell tickets. Like we literally could sell tickets. It'd be a YouTube show. It would go viral. I don't like any shit around my eyes. I
Right.
just don't. Right. And I do find it, like I don't even understand the cosmetic industry then. For me, the way you're saying, if you're doing small vials of replacement, like usage and frequency of purchase to keep it clean is like just solid business. Never mind good eye care. Like you think they'd be all over it.
Mhm.
Like, you know
Mhm.
what I mean? I feel like it should be built into the industry because you'd want people coming in monthly or week. I don't care how whatever the frequency is required. Like, you'd think that would be like,
Yeah.
shit, we can have this person 12 times a year. Like,
Yeah.
this would be like the dream.
Yes.
Like, why
Yeah.
would you want people hanging on to this shit for that long? And
But
Yeah. And it's funny because as an eye care professional from the background I'm coming from, I'm looking at it pretty much solely as what's going to promote better ocular health.
it's
But
as you should.
yes, yeah.
But
Yeah.
there's a great business story around it as well. Like, that's
Right.
why I find it funny that nobody has spent, like you think
that's
this would
not
have been
the
something that
it's
would have
not
been built in. Like,
I feel like okay, so and someone in the cosmetic industry might try and shoot me, but like if I put myself back in that spot, I'm not sorry, Nika, you might shoot me too, and don't shoot me, right? But when I was there, I'm not worried about eye health. I'm not thinking about it actually, because
no,
it
you
never
sell a
occurred to
product.
me that our standards for what we put on our face or our eyes would not be robust enough, right?
I would have
'Cause
thought
I'm
that
I'm
too,
used to the
especially
other
around
side.
the
I'm used
eye.
to like over the counter medicine. Like you couldn't put out something without a monograph or like adverse reactions, all of that kind of stuff. But what we were worried about way more was I actually wanted you to buy more mascara, but I didn't care about the turns. What I cared about was every season you were picking up a new color, a new flavor, right? Because it's more fashion than it is about, you know what I mean? Like, because
Right.
this is about being beautiful, not about being healthy, even
Mhm.
though times have clearly changed and being healthy can be beautiful as well, right? Like, but but I think the industry's turned the other way around, right? Is beautiful is what we're after, right? So I did look, right? It actually took me a minute because I had to go figure out the companies I'd worked for, like what, because I didn't know how much was in each container. Like a whatever insert mainstream brand here, it's usually like 7.5 ml in a container. And then what you've done is you've given them three containers, you know, of 3 ml, right? Like, so it does last. So you should be able to consume it a lot faster and then get out of it, which
Yeah.
is what you want is to be able to kind of turn over and keep a fresh tube going, which makes sense to me.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it's crazy how such a small thing can show off the value difference between the approaches, right? One is beauty, which is I don't care, not that I don't care, but
I don't
we're gonna
care,
give you
but
a whole
yeah,
lot of it. We're gonna give you a whole lot of it.
yeah,
And we want you to buy other colors where you're like,
yeah.
listen, you need to do this right, right? Which is every few months you've got to change over a new tube because that stuff's bad for you now, right? So,
Yeah. Yeah.
huh.
Like, I guess that's one of my points is I thought that would have sort of been built into the industry because even from strictly business, forget the health, strictly business, you're turning product. Like you would think that you'd be screaming from the top of the mountain to do that just for good business. And then the byproduct is hopefully better eye health because you don't keep this shit for a year and,
Mhm.
use it sporadically
Well,
and
I don't
put
think
all
that's
this
an
junk back
awareness. Like
into it.
like in the same way that we have people who are not cleaning their faces properly, or
Yeah.
cleaning makeup properly.
Yeah.
I don't think like so I used to be a contact wearer and then I was that guy, right? Like I wore them for everything, right? And I played a lot of sports and the eye doctor would go, listen, clean environment, wash your hands. I'm like, I was driving and I popped one in, I popped the other one in, and I'm fine, right? Until you get your first eye infection. Then you're like, I've got to stay off these for like 2 years now, right? And the 2 years might as well be a lifetime, right? And that's when you go, oh shit, I really need, like, this is a sensitive organ. I need to be careful. You know what I mean? Like, but it is something you take for granted a lot, right? So I feel like mascara is in the same class, right? Because you've like girls learn how you like it's one of the first things besides lipstick, it's the first thing you learn how to do is mascara and lipstick, they kind of go together, right? Like they're the first two things that every girl kind of learns to use, right? So
Yeah. Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
It's interesting. How are you? So you're in distribution now, right? You have retailers or,
Yeah, so right now it's currently being sold in eye clinics, so optometry and ophthalmology clinics, as
yeah.
well as it's open to be sold in dermatology clinics as well. Right now we're kind of at the stage of brand awareness because I've just launched it since earlier this
Yeah.
year, but whoever's been buying it has been adopting it for their clinics, which is great. And then it's on e-commerce as well. We're
Right.
online on a couple websites. But that's kind of my approach with this really was to, because it's coming from the background that it is, from a clinical perspective, I really do value what my colleagues and our patients um, have to say about it, what their feedback is, what their experience is with it, um, and just see where it goes with it. I'm being
Right.
very much, taking it one step at a time, being very intentional about it, and just making sure that kind of we're getting that positive feedback. And it's been really great with the makeup remover so far. And I mean, my patients are getting it as well, and they're loving it. And I'm seeing positive results when I see them further follow-ups as well. But yeah, I'm starting off there and then kind of seeing where it takes me.
I don't think it's a bad idea. I mean, at the end of the day, when we tend to listen to our physicians to some degree anyway, we've got better odds. I mean, and listen, if I go in, like for example, if I was using makeup and I go in and you tell me that I'm using it, man, because
Yeah.
I don't want anything going wrong in my eyes. Like I just would bug the shit out of me. I'd have to use it. So I would assume that if you're coming in to get your eyes done and you are talking that, I would assume that most people who are using makeup would probably take heed because I mean, you'd freak me out if you told me that. I'd be like, shit, man, she's serious. I got to really watch this.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, you don't get mass appeal because we're not going to the eye doctor every day and kind of thing. So because I think that I guess from my perspective again, because I read my eyes bother me that way, is that you would think that this would be like everywhere all the time because like why would you not want to? Like you should be all over this, right? Really, I mean, what are we talking about here? It's eye health.
Yeah, and that's really refreshing to hear. And honestly, I've got to say, with my patients, like whenever I have this conversation with them, they do actually take it quite
I
seriously.
bet.
And they hear that there has been a cosmetic line that has been designed specifically for this reason. I feel like that really helps them be like, oh, this is an actual problem that's being addressed, and I need to do something about it and actually comply. And so I have seen good compliance rates with my patients because with dry eye, you follow up with them quite regularly, and I do see my patients multiple times. So I mean, I notice at least within the cosmetic space of their practices, their daily practices, I see a big difference just after having that natural conversation with them.
Hmm.
Do you do you find like because like makeup remover is kind of like everywhere, but clearly the quality of the product is a little bit different, right? Because you can find cheap stuff for like $8, $9, right? Like some of the big brands have it for $8, $9. You start getting into what I would say is like people who are really serious about it, like Lancome has something that is, around the $50 range. Are patients kind of, because pricing is always one of those things that comes up in retail. Do you find that your patients are receptive to the price point you're at?
I think they are once they know, I think once they know the background
Hmm.
and I guess like the background, the philosophy, and the mission of the line. I think they do really. That's not really a concern for them. It's
Okay.
not a concern I've heard so far. It's also supposed to, it's supposed to come across as a premium luxe product. And I mean, there are products out there that are a lot more expensive than this one. And I wanted to make sure that it's, affordable. I mean, if you think about a mini vial of mascara, it's in the range of, it can go up to $24 or so
Yep.
per, let's say 18 to $24. And so I also had put that into consideration, you know,
Yeah.
uh, figuring out the price point of this because I was thinking, well, there's three vials coming into one. That makes sense. If you're going to be buying each mini vial for around, 18 to $24, and that makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, But that said, yeah, I think knowing the background and the philosophy and everything is really helpful for one to actually, and I feel like nowadays more and more consumers are actually looking into more of a holistic view of things and they're looking more at, they're more health conscious and they're looking at the values of each brand and how they want to best support the brand. If their values align with the brand's values, I find that's becoming more and more of a thing versus going for anything and everything nowadays.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Like I think it comes from a different place too, right? Because you get a chance to educate a little bit more. Like it really isn't like going to Walmart and picking something off the shelf, right? Like, you know, this is something very targeted. It's quite cool.
It's very cool. It's just a
Yeah,
funny industry in that if we talk about price, right? I've walked into Sephora clearly numerous times to think price is really not a factor of much of anything that goes on in Sephora. It's a fucking shit show. I mean, there's price. People are paying obscene amounts of dollars for hope in a bottle on a lot of stuff. So to me, yeah, beauty will supersede price and health more
100%.
times than
Yeah.
not, right? And I think the reason I come back to it because you're such an important space and such an important part of the space of your face. Like losing your eyes would not be considered to be a win. I don't think in life. You know what I mean? Like lose your hair. Well, you can play with it, but eyesight is eyesight. But when you start talking about those areas, is that it's how to get through the noise. Like I don't let's say Lancome does have a product, and no offense to Lancome, I don't really care what they make, but whether it's 50, 75, $100 doesn't mean it's a great product. Doesn't mean it's good for you. It just means it's $175. I mean, it's because they can.
Yeah.
Some brands can command the price. It doesn't matter what's in the bottle, right? So to me is what I'm trying because what I guess I'm trying to think is I think something like you should be much more prevalent and much more accessible to everyday regular people. You go to the eye doctor once every 2 years, you get an appointment with a derm every 2 years, like if you can get into a derm. So it's not like people you're seeing enough. Whereas if you're maybe in your drugstore and you're buying your meds, getting pharmacists to say, hey, listen, those meds are for dry eye, you have dry eye, or whatever it is, you know, if you're a makeup user, do you realize that you should blah 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 blah, and here's something you should use, or whatever that trying to tie it in so that more people get access to this
It's a
types of
it's
products.
a
Like
trickier message though, right? Because you
I
do,
get it.
because Visine is an easy, sorry, I'm not picking on Visine. I just happen to work there, but any of the eye drops, it's easy to sell eye drops because you have dry eye. I don't need to ask you more things. I need to know if you wear contacts or not. And then beyond that, generically, I probably should. Again, Nika, you might
Well, it's
kill me
OTC,
for
so
this, but
bottom line, you've already said that you don't
but
need to
but you
have
can like you
anybody
can get away with
intervene.
going you have dry eye or do you wear contacts, yes or no? And then those two things allows me to recommend a bunch of eye drops for you. But I like starting with being in clinics because you can ask and you can triage a bit more appropriately. I
Totally.
guess the translation is how do you get a, a more complicated eye health message out so that, you know, like like the word of mouth is going to be really powerful because it is going to be someone going, listen, I used to do it this way. I made a stop at the eye doctor. They recommended this and it's amazing, right? Like it's helped a lot, but then how to replicate or kind of like figure out what that, so that it gets faster so people understand it better is
Yeah.
really the
Yeah.
trick.
And something to kind of go back to a point you had made earlier, Phil, about the makeup removers that are out there and some that are a little bit of a lower price point. Um,
A lot lower price point, but
Lower
probably a
price
lot of
point.
garbage inside it, right?
It's usually
So
not very
That's
good
that's
for
the
your eyes,
thing I'm
obviously.
finding with a lot of my patients, like when we're talking about makeup removal and why are they not removing their makeup, a lot of them it's because I mean some of them purely they're like I don't feel like it, like I kind of want to wear the same thing the next day type of thing and save myself some time. Other patients though are like I dread the thought of having to remove makeup. And why is that? A lot of times I mean, more often than not, a lot of these removers are quite harsh on the lids and lashes. So it's not a very fun process. I mean, I've used some harsh ones back in the day, being like, this is like not fun. I hate taking my makeup off at nighttime because it's tugging on my lids and lashes. It's causing more irritation to the delicate skin areas, causing potential thinning of the lashes, right? And you just don't want to have to go through with that. And so that's why I had included what I did in the formulation for the I Spy Clean Eyes makeup remover was to make sure that it's gentle. My motto with this one is gentle on the eyes, tough on your makeup. Because I've actually had people tell me I'm so excited to take my makeup off at nighttime now because it's
That's
literally like
awesome.
it's a balm that melts your makeup away and it feels like skincare afterwards. Um, so I think
mm,
that's the thing. You need to have some sort of an incentive to encourage your users to want to use your products for
For sure.
multiple reasons, but like what actually makes you look forward to application of this or you know what I mean to the use of
yeah,
this product and for
yeah.
the makeup remover is very much like it is just such a nice soft feeling that I absolutely love spending, like finishing off my day with my skincare routine, starting off with taking the makeup off.
That's interesting too, eh? That experiential at the end of the day. That's interesting.
I guess it's the same logic though,
Yeah.
if you look at it, is that if it's a pain in the ass to take off and it doesn't feel comfortable, then I'd rather leave it on too, because why do it? This was not fun to do. I'm gonna go apply tomorrow. I'm gonna dread tomorrow night because I have to do the same thing. Like you can see the mentality why people would think, well, just leave it on. I could touch it up. It saves time, and I don't have to go through this. Like because I've watched, even Amelia do it or my daughter. Like it does. It feels like I watch. It feels like they're just yanking parts of their head off as they're trying to get this
It can be quite
stuff off.
yeah, abrasive and harsh.
Hmm.
Are there
Yeah,
other
I
people
wonder
doing
if
this?
there's something there like that experiential moment,
Oh, I think there should be for sure.
at the end of the day, right? Because the sensation of one that it isn't like sandpaper or duct tape like pulling things off your face, but that actually it's a good end of day routine to help you kind of de-stress is kind of cool too, right?
I'm
Um,
sure it makes it easier the next day too when you're putting stuff on. If there's nothing there, it's like a clean sidewalk. It's nice. It's probably very smooth. It's a lot easier to apply. So, I mean,
Yes.
clean
Yeah,
sidewalk.
again, say you got to clean it up. It's a lot easier to hose down a sidewalk once a day than pressure wash
Yes,
once a
sir.
year.
I
All
get
right.
it. I get it.
All
I get
right.
it. One thing
I'm not talking to Phil anymore. I'm just talking to Nieka now. I'm not talking to him anymore. Are there other people in your space? Are there other people doing this? Are you sort of out there all by your lonesome at this time?
I'm the only eye care provider in Canada who's come out with actual cosmetics
Okay.
within Canada, but it's an overwhelming amount of support and
That's
encouragement.
awesome. I'm sure it is. I'm sure there's
So touching. that so many of my colleagues are, passionate about it, very supportive and encouraging. And you can tell that there is a need for us as, as a profession as a whole to kind of concentrate on cosmetics more, because a lot of us don't really know the ins and outs of cosmetics or how to kind of
No.
create conversations in the exam room. But um, yeah, that's
I mean, I
basically,
came from drugstores. I could just see drugstores being all over this because at least in the drugstores, you have a key person who can intervene in the pharmacy.
A pharmacy.
And most people trust their pharmacist at a fairly high level, and a pharmacist gets behind it and can understand, because again, they're dispensing meds. I mean, there's so much. I don't know, I could just see lineups of so many people buying, whether OTC or BTC, dry meds, and many wearing makeup who should have that person saying, I
yeah.
don't know how often you clean, but really, if you do all this stuff, it
Mhm.
just makes the ride a little easier. You're already here, no use making it worse.
Yeah, yeah. And these kind of skincare dermatology clinics as well have shown a bit of interest. I mean, a lot of the consumers right now are using it for their full face. Or like, I don't just, restrict it to
It's
the
safe
eyes.
for the eye. It's got to be safe for the
All
rest,
of my
right?
makeup. Obviously, as an eye care professional, I'm coming from the background of I've done the research for the eyes, so I'm
Right.
going to stick to the eyes, but you do you if you want to use it for the rest of the face. But a lot of people are doing that. They're saying it takes everything off. Another thing, and so that's why I think it's very applicable to dermatology clinics as well. I mean, regardless of whether it's just the eyes.
Right.
For the whole face, but also the volume was a big one for me. I was really debating whether or not I wanted to do 100 mils for travel size, which I think is very beneficial. But
Mhm.
because I know a lot of people kind of try to, I mean, it makes sense in our industry. You want to use less and save more as much as possible and be very conscious of how much product you're using so that you can extend the period of time that you have that product in particular. Um, I made it 150 mils to make sure that the user knows that you have more than enough. Most people are saying it takes 1 or 2 pumps to take off all of my makeup. Mind you, that does depend on what type of makeup you're using, how
For
much
sure.
you're using, how frequently you're using the makeup. But I just want the user to be reassured that you don't have to use less because you want
Right.
to more. Use as much as you need to get all that makeup off.
Right. Interesting. Wow.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, yeah, I mean, clearly there's a need for it, so it's kind of a cool space to be in.
I
Yeah,
love
wow.
it.
We'll see where it
Maybe
goes,
you're
but
starting a revolution out there. Maybe you'll have even some of the big guys thinking, oh, maybe we should do this. We want you to do better first, though, not them.
oh no,
So,
I appreciate. Honestly, I think for like I mentioned earlier, it's a huge goal of mine to just kind of get our thinking
yeah,
to be, more of a health conscious one and to go into this pattern. So I honestly I support it. I think it's at least for the eye care professionals, we're going to see better eye health outcomes if we can make positive changes within the cosmetic
right.
industry. So I'm all for it.
Good for you.
I think just having, because it's interesting, right? Because we started on this and I was thinking about the eyes only, but you're not wrong, right? Full face health and full face
For
hygiene is
sure.
part of this too. So there are kind of there are lots of skincare companies that could adopt this message to kind of push this along, right? Like this at some point folks that make mascara will have to look at this, so that they actually make proper,
You'd hope.
you know, like better mascara, but at the same time, you don't need them. What we probably need is just folks in the space that you're in talking
Yeah,
about how much health, we're doing it for everything else. We're talking about probiotics, we're talking about gut health, we're talking about these things like facial health is one of them, right? Like we do like to a person like Kenny, right? It's like I will defend my eyes because I need them, but like me, kind of a jerk to my eyes, right? It's like, it'll be fine. It can adapt, right? So I'm driving, I'll stick my contacts in, like wrong. It's the wrong thing to do, right? Like, yeah, interesting.
it's nice it's coming from your side too. A doctor driven,
Yes.
someone who actually gets it is like,
Yes.
I don't know. to me,
Yeah.
it just makes the messaging and the story and the sell that much easier. It just,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, you're dealing with this stuff. I mean, if you're telling me, what am I going to say? I'm going to debate with you? I'm going to argue it? But I'm not going to have much of a chance. So,
Yeah,
okay,
I think that's why it's so beautiful for any professional to kind of hone in on what they're,
for
um,
sure.
experiencing on a daily basis and see how they can better the outcomes with
Absolutely.
patients or the population as a whole in, certain areas that we might be passionate or interested in. And this was a huge one that really has been in my heart and mind for many years now. So it only made sense when, the idea came up. I thought this makes perfect sense for me to be doing this. And
Good
I've
for
been
you.
on it.
That's
So
pretty cool.
appreciate it. Thank
Wow. Yay. I'm glad you came on. This is
Yeah, me
amazing.
too. That was very interesting.
Yeah.
I appreciate you having me on, and it was so lovely to meet the both of you.
Yeah, no, that's very cool.
Hmm. I
Very
know, it's
cool.
nice to see your face. I
To
know
see
your voice for
and
sure.
yeah, to finally see your face, Phil, and hopefully we'll be able to see each other in person someday soon.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Awesome. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you for having
That's awesome.
me.
Thanks.
Lovely, lovely time.
Yeah. Okay, so you go have a nice day. Kenny, you stay on, and then
I will stay
I'll
on.
talk to you soon.
Right. Thank you again.
Take
Thank you.
care. Safe
Bye.
travels home.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Cool, right?
It's interesting just because again, I mean, there's certain things you got to take care of,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like I said, I mean, hair is important, but it's not does whether you have hair or don't have hair, really not going to probably make it into like eyesight or eye health to me. Like is yeah, I mean because my mom's got some eye issues, my aunt has eye issues, so it's prevalent within lineage as well. Like I've always been hypersensitive
Hmm.
on that. I just think for her, I what I it's you got to do whatever you got to do. But to me, like this, you can't get to derms, right? It just takes 9 months to a year to get an appointment. So you're just not getting the volume. And eye doctors, we only go to, we're supposed to go every 2 years. I don't know if we do that. I
Agreed.
know
I don't.
three. Do you know what I mean? And I
Since
don't
I
think
had laser
most
eye
do.
surgery, I haven't been nearly as much,
Yeah.
right? You know what I mean?
I tell you, I think that's prevalent. I
Hmm.
do think that's why I really hope she can sort of break in to pharmacy and drug because I do think with amount, I mean, I remember how much with the amount of never mind OTC where nobody's getting help. Trust me, we're just reading the packet. Oh, contact lens. Oh, no, no. They have no clue what they're putting in their eyes, which is another scary thing, but that's a different argument. But at least
Yeah.
if you get into a pharmacist who you probably have a lot more interactions with in life than you'll ever have with a derm, it would be great if she could get down that. So I'm not telling her what to do. I'm just like for me, it's about how do we get more people to actually get this concept
So
than
it's
than
kind of
not.
why I was, but I don't know, like, it's a tricky spot to be in, right? Is you are in clinics, you're slowly making your way. If the pace is okay for her, it's okay for her. But I do feel like it's why
Absolutely.
I was curious about the whole, like, because maybe this is less about explaining the whole thing and more about, listen, just your end of day routine is a nicer routine. It's more effective and it's a nicer routine if you go this route,
It's
right?
what will ultimately sell it.
Hmm.
Because you and I've said it about a trillion times.
Hmm.
The comments will always be everybody worries about health. Everybody buys health.
Hmm.
And that is absolute bullshit. We can walk stores and I can clearly show you aisle upon aisle upon aisle upon
Kenny,
aisle
I'm
of
shocked.
example where that is not true.
Shocked and
It's
appalled,
not to
Kenny.
say that
What are you
people
talking
aren't
about?
concerned about it, but well, seriously, come on. I mean, like, it's why go there? That's not true.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should all do that. I'm not arguing that. Yes, the 18. But
But no,
emphatically, when the chip and pop aisle is empty, don't come to that
no,
story. It's
no,
not true.
no, it's not
So,
true.
and especially on this, like if you could make it part of the daily routine where it is a lot less offensive than like I've watched, I feel like they're ripping their face off.
Mhm.
Where it would be a lot easier and probably the application the next day probably. I think just again, it's hard. It's to get the education or get people
Yep.
into those routines, right?
Yep.
Because I do. I think it's important. I think what she's doing is really cool. I love the fact that it comes from an eye doctor too, like someone who actually gets it. Like I think that was the kicker for me, is that I think, oh my God, I can actually, I'll
No,
listen to
it's
her because
I think it's a big deal. Like I
I
think,
think so.
this is something that an eye doctor says she uses every day. So
Well,
to me,
all
that's
right,
like,
giddy up.
how do you argue that, right?
I
Like
don't know.
that is, you know,
I don't know, and that's why I have no issue with the derms and the eye doctors. I guess for me, it's just you're trying to get more people on it, and so it's frequency of visits, frequency of
yep,
seeing those
yep,
people. I
yep,
wish it had a different, more mass appeal, but
yep.
it's education, and you
It
got to
is.
battle, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah.
Really, anyway, she's fascinating. She's yeah, it was very cool,
It's
very
cool.
cool.
All right. Thanks for listening. Oh,
Thanks for
and
listening, everybody.
thank you to Linda because Linda put me in touch with Nika.
Arlinda,
Our Linda.
the boss, Linda.
The boss put me in touch with Nika. So Nika and I've spoken in the past, just small things, right? Like
Well,
she'll
that's
want
good.
an opinion on something or whatever, and
That's
I'll kind
good.
of wander in and help her out and then get out again. So
That's good. Well,
yeah.
the boss has been a little quiet lately, so I'm glad the boss is
Boss.
stepping up once in a while. That's good.
Yeah. Yeah. Come on, boss.
He's really though. I mean, I don't know what's
Yeah,
going
yeah.
on.
Just remember, Kenny called you out for earlier than me. I
Nicely
just
though,
said
as
thank you.
always.
Okay,
Thanks,
thanks for
everybody.
listening.